Okay, guys, very good evening to all of you. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you.
Okay, so I can see only few participants are joined. Fine. Okay, guys, let's just wait for 1 or 2 more minutes, then we'll start. And guys, I will start first from your questions, the task which I have given to you. Okay, so just wait for 2 minutes, and then we'll continue with the session. I think that lot of actors have given you the assessment task. Um, yeah, I hope that definitely many of you try. I even receive a few messages on WhatsApp regarding maybe if you stuck somewhere. Even some of you even send me that a file after completion of the entire a task. So yeah, guys, please let me know what are the challenges you guys have faced, and still if there is any doubt, or if there is any let's say the question which you guys are not able to solve, or let's say if you're facing some a major difficulty to create any of the boundaries which I have given to you. Yeah, guys. Yeah, anyone? Lakshmi, Divya, Pragati, Rohit, Samuel.
Hi, Shivam. Shivam, I'm audible, no?
Yeah, you're audible.
So, Shivam, actually, I think I was trying to do all the four boundaries which you have given now. But I
Hmm.
just want to know what are the other ways that I can be able to use in the formulas, because right now I have just used a single formula, or you can say the if else formula I have used only. So what are the other ways which I can be used in the formula, and I can make the boundaries or make the new columns?
No, but with a single formula, like let's assume that if you're saying that only with the if formula, you are not. I think we are not able to solve like all the boundary conditions then. So yeah, definitely. The if formula is fine, and definitely it actually works. In so many a scenario. But the thing is that, let's say if I talk about the questions over here. So the very first question which we have is let's say that a loan amount greater than what I can say the 4 times greater than the borrower's monthly income should be treated as higher credit risk unless accompanied by a longer tenure, which is 12 months or more. Okay, so let's say that maybe this question we can directly solve with that formula, but then we require few more things for there. Okay, we require something called as the in the other questions we require the let's say the column called estimated EMI. Then for the even for the second boundary condition, we need to calculate something called as a loan to income. Okay, so I guess that let's say if you just try that like if formula, so that is not sufficient to solve all the boundary conditions. We definitely require let's say the other formulas like divide is the major requirement to solve like most of the boundary conditions. So divide is one. Okay. Then if is definitely going to be one of the major thing. Then in this in these boundary conditions, I guess switch and then true case is again the one. So I guess that switch case, which I think we even discussed like earlier, where I told you that if there are multiple classes or if there are multiple, let's say the categories you want to create, so you can actually create, you can actually use switch over there. Okay. So I guess that these are the multiple formulas which you can actually apply over there. Along with that, like if. Okay, so if is let's say let me take to you that like I think that the defaulters or let's say the clean in order to make this category. So at the end we require if, but the thing is that let's say if the column is not present. Okay, so in that case we first need to create that calculated column, na? Like the last time we have created. Okay, so I first want to understand like how many boundary conditions you are able to solve because I think let's say the second one itself require some initial calculation where we require to use divide function. Okay, so you can actually check that key. Did you use that formula divide or like related one?
I think I have not used divide formula while doing the second boundary, but
Okay.
however, I think I was able to solve with the if formula only. Maybe you have to check my file because I have sent it to you. But I think I have
Okay,
solved.
yeah, okay, yeah, Rohit. Okay, you actually sent me, but yeah, fine. But yeah, okay. So I think uh you sent me maybe night, so yeah, so I didn't get time in a day. Uh, but okay, one second. I think yeah, let me check this out. Mm, uh, one second. What you send me? I think Rohit. Uh, this is something different you have taken. You just need to send me one PBIX file.
I think I have sent you the PBX file. You can check it.
No, because I can see that it's there are multiple files inside this zip which you actually sent to me. It
No,
has
I have
data
sent you.
model.
So I'm again sending the file. The file name is digitallending.pbx.
That is fine. That coming with the same name, but it actually have is actually like folder which contains multiple files inside it.
Okay, okay,
Just
okay.
check one that it should contain a single there definitely we didn't require a zip over there. So
Understood. I will
check it
check.
once.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, guys, I told you, but you didn't remind me. I'm sending it right now into your drive, the folder which I have already shared with you. You can try to refresh it. So I shared one like a cheat sheet of like a DEX. Okay. Alongside Rohit, please share yours so I can start from there itself.
I'm trying because right now I'm in office, so not able to access the laptop right now.
Okay. No issue, like because guys, I think today we'll start something new. Okay, guys. So anyone else who has done it, who has like created this, the assessment which I have given to you. Meanwhile, I will do one thing. I will just open like my existing Power BI file where all these formulas are already calculated, so that I can just take you through the boundaries. Vaishali, so third boundary, got it, guys. So, like, yeah, that's what I want to understand, because third boundary condition actually requires some, actually the new formula which didn't discuss, in the previous set of questions, and it is completely fine, guys, because definitely with the new data set, with the new a problem statement, we'll get these kind of let's say the we'll get these kind of a challenges. Okay, so that's why I actually asked you, did you try, and what kind of challenges you'll get. So that's complete. Totally agree that, yeah, definitely the third one require the new, let's say, the formula, or you can say that new function which we did discuss like in the previous one. So I completely agree that you probably didn't able to solve it. Uh, Let me now just share my whole screen so that I can first share this with you. So yeah, guys, this is actually the cheat sheet which I already told you, but I forgot, and you guys even didn't remind me. So this is actually, guys, the what I can say, the PDF I sh now shared with you into the folder. You can just try to refresh it and you'll get it over there. Now this folder, if you look at the folder over here, so you'll see that you have I have given all the formulas, and actually the function name, like how to use the particular formula, okay, by taking some random example, and then description of it. Okay, so definitely, guys, this will actually help you a lot in going forward into the session, and even after that, to remember what may be the a role, and what may be the uses of these functions and formulas over here. Okay, then for a conditional calculation, we have something called if statement. So if there are just like one condition or two conditions, so we can simply use if there are multiple condition, then we have to move on to the another function called switch statement. Okay, so that's what, guys, even we cover in our previous sessions with our example. Now you have this cheat sheet, so you can definitely understand that when and how you can actually use it. Okay. Then we have this if with and or okay, and slash or. So this is one more like a kind of a function we have. Then apply, let's say, a filter. So you can see, guys, that filter and calculate. Okay. So I told you that calculate is actually a very important function over here. So calculate is actually utilized for doing the filtering. Okay, so it's the heart of the DEX. Okay, and it's correct. So whenever you want to apply, whenever you want to filter out any data from, let's say, the use set of data set, you are using this function called calculate, and this is what, guys, we use like multiple times, like so far. So you can see, guys, that single filter, multiple filter, remove filter, all these things are there. Then for getting the data for the previous month, you can see that time intelligence formulas are there. So what function you can use? Year to date, if you want to get that year to date like somewhere, so YDD, total YDD is a function name. Okay, then previous month is a function name. Year to year sales, if I want to understand. Okay, so you can see, guys, that all these formulas I have listed down over here. Then if I want to get ranking, percentage, ratios, so for that, again, there's a different formulas over here. Text and date functions. Okay, so date difference, dated, if this is one function we have. Then there's a advanced DAX formulas we have like earlier. Okay, so this is what we have also used like in our previous case study. All select filter function. Okay, so, guys, yeah, these are all the formulas I listed down into this like a cheat sheet, which you definitely try to go through. And definitely, guys, for practice, if you require more like a problem statement or practice set, I have like so many practice set in a similar way, which I can share with you. Now, guys, going forward with our like a task which I have shared with you. Now let me take you through the like calculations which we have done into this particular like a file. So earlier, guys, the files are actually having probably having just like a 10 or maybe yeah 10 or maybe 12 columns over here. Okay. But you can see that there are many other columns which I have added over here. Okay, so now, if I talk about from the very first calculation, guys, over here, so the calculations which I've added is like I don't know that like Rohit, you can even try to check that in the second question itself. It is asking that if the implied EMI is access to 30% of the monthly income, the borrower should be categorized as a high payment risk. Okay. So it's again a very simple boundary condition that let's say if your monthly income is let's say 1 lakh and you are paying more than 30,000 as a EMI only. Okay, so definitely it's a tough situation for you, and it will be a very high like highly risky like a thing for maybe a bank like to provide you the loan, because you're already paying let's say more than 30 percent of your income into the EMI. Okay, so now guys, if let's say if I want to create this scenario, so I don't have like the multiple columns for this. Okay, so you can see that EMI to income is one column which we need to actually create. Okay, so and before that, guys, we have this. We also need this require this column called estimated EMI. Okay, so we also don't have this column called estimated EMI. Okay, so these are the thing, guys. I think we first need to prepare. Okay, so I think we have created one column as loan to income. Okay, so you can see, guys, that for calculating this loan to income, we are using the divide function over here. Okay, so the total amount of like loan you have requested divided by the monthly income. Okay, so divide is again, guys, a very important function and very simple function. You can see that you just need to first understand the logic over here, that what should the logic if I want to calculate loan to income means what percentage of your income is like going into the loan. Okay, so that is what we are actually trying to understand over here. Now in that case, if I just try to roughly want to do this calculation, so probably I need to do one thing. I just simply need to divide like whatever the loan I have requested for, means the loan amount, and that should be divided by the monthly income. Okay, so the same thing as we have done over here. Now the divide is a function which need to be utilized over here. Then you have to pass your numerator, and then comma you have to pass your denominator. Now, definitely, guys, this is one like a column we actually require before creating our second like a boundary condition. Okay, so without this, you cannot probably able to create your boundary condition. Okay, so definitely boundary condition, for creating the boundary condition, if are using, you can actually use if, but you cannot only dependent on that if. Okay, you definitely require more columns to actually calculate it or to create it. Okay, so you can see that we have calculated all these columns like the loan to income, then estimated EMI. Okay, so because you can see, guys, that we have total existing EMI column over here. Okay, but we don't have the estimated like EMI. Like let's say if you are applying for any new loan, so what can be the estimated EMI for it? Okay, so that is again one calculation we have done over here. Okay, so I guess yeah. Now again for this, the estimated EMI is going to be the amount again what we have requested divided by the tenure. Okay, so if you requested for like 12 months or 6 months, so whatever the month or whatever the tenure you have requested, uh, with that number you have to divide your loan amount. Okay, so that will be the estimated EMI. After that, guys, you can only calculate this EMI to income. Okay, so EMI to income is there. Now this, if you don't have this column, then definitely, guys, it's not possible to calculate the second boundary condition. Okay, so now this EMI to income will actually help me to understand that what percentage of your like income is actually going into the EMI. Okay, and if it is greater than 30%, then it's a like a risky call. If I am giving a loan to such a candidate or such a customer who's 30%, more than 30% of their income is getting into the EMI, then it's a risky call to give them a loan. Okay, so you can see that after that, the first boundary condition has been created over here. That's a high loan risk, and you can see that the column for this is this. So you can see that now over here I can use that if condition. Okay, so I am checking that if loan to income is greater than 4, and then the loan tenure is less than 12. Okay, so I think this is first boundary condition. Then it's a high risk call. Otherwise, it's a normal like a one. Okay. Similarly, high EMI risk. Okay, so this even the first boundary condition you see that it required this loan to income column. Okay, so we don't have that loan to income column earlier. Okay. So even the first boundary condition we require this loan to income column, because in first boundary condition we are checking two things. The first thing is if your loan amount is 4 times greater than the borrower's monthly income. Okay, and the second thing we are checking that if the tenure is less than 12 months. Okay, so we are actually required and over here. Okay, so because when both the conditions are satisfied, then only I will say that it's a high risk loan. Okay, if even if the loan amount is greater than 4 times, but you're taking a loan for more than 12 months, then it will not fall into the high risk loan. Okay, and then after that we are if we are calculating the second boundary condition where we need to check that 30% of the thing. Okay, so it is high EMI risk. So now again for this, so wherever guys the boundary conditions are coming, you are using if. But before using the if, you definitely required you definitely required some columns over there. Okay, and that for creating those columns you require this like a divide function, which we are using to calculate this loan to income, then estimated EMI, and then this EMI to income for like this one. Okay, so Rohit, I cannot see your like a file right now, so I don't know that how you have like achieve the first and second boundary condition without creating this like a columns if you have not created it. Okay, but definitely these columns are required before like for the first and second boundary conditions. Okay. So, yeah, guys, before going ahead, before going into the third boundary condition where a few of you even having a doubt, please let me know that if the first two are clear to everyone. I guess the first two are very is simple. Okay, I don't want to go from very like a basic means from very start because I guess that there's not like so many thing which we need to discuss in a detail. Still, if anyone thinking that yeah, the more detailing you require, then you can tell me, or you can also try in your case if you think. Okay. Yeah, guys. Let me tell me if there is any like a problem to understand these five new columns which I have like shown you right now, or which we discussed right now. Yeah, guys.
Can you please copy and paste the formulas of these columns in the chat?
Uh, so we have this loan to income first. Okay, I will even mark the number. Okay. Then we have estimate EMI at the second place. Again, copy and paste the formula. Then we have EMI to income as third. And if you are able to create this three, then definitely you are able to create your first and second boundary condition. Okay. So I will write like this that okay, this is the first boundary condition, just first condition. Let me write like this. Okay, and then we have the second boundary condition over here. Okay, so yeah, guys, if you are trying, so you can even like copy it right now. Okay, then we'll move with the third one. Okay, done. Great. So now, guys, uh, it's okay. Okay, now into the next one, guys, which is the third one is like any default a borrower with the past default should be considered as a high credit risk. Okay, so this is actually one. So even guys in this four boundary condition, there are like a kind of a part one and part B is there. So like I think the first one is very easy because like if I just take it till this before the comma, so it is very easy because we just have like the column where I can see that if the customer have any past like experience. Okay, so if the customer coming with the like this column, okay, so in this column you already have this 1 and 0, and you know that if the answer is 1, it means that customer actually done some like a past default. And if it is not, if if there is any past default, then bank will not try to give the loan. Okay, so that's going to be a clear cut shot that clear cut case where you don't like consider. Okay, so you can consider it a high risk, irrespective of the current income level, loan amount, or digital transaction activity. Now, borrower without past default but with high repayment burden, EMI exceeding 30% of monthly income, or low credit score should be considered at a moderate risk. So I think there are multiple like situations like creating over here. So in the third one, guys, it's very simple, I guess. Then if I just try to check this default flag, so the first thing we have to check that in the past default, so in the previous, so if the previous experience is not good, so in that case, guys, I think in the past default we just have two answer. Okay, so we can even try to just cross check it. So we probably have okay, multiple answers. It means that I think the number of defaults are there. Okay, so past defaults. Okay, so that's why it is written as past default. So let's say 0 means that the customer doesn't make any like a bad history. Then customer has one bad history, then two or maybe three. Okay, so it may be even maybe I think it may be even with the number of times you didn't pay the EMI or maybe the loan amount at time. Okay, so that is what like given over here. Now, in that case, we are checking that if there's any past default, so this we can simply tag it as defaulted. Otherwise, like a clean. Okay, then you have this high digital user. Now, this is where we actually require one more like a thing. Okay, so this is, I guess, but I think this is different. Okay, so multiple things are actually coming over here, but I guess that we have already covered the EMI exceeding 30%. This is what we have already covered. And when there are multiple categories we are going to create, so in that case we are going to consider all this thing. Okay, but for a timing, I think this is already being covered. Okay, now this is what I think we have, which is borrower failing in the top 50% digital transactions. I think falling, yeah, falling in top 50% digital transaction frequency, and simultaneously exhibiting repayment stress indicators such as past default or high EMI burden or high loan to income ratio. Okay, so I think considering all the three things at a time should be classified as low credit worthy. Okay, now this is the one, guys, I think for which I think again like this the other indicators we have already considered. Now we just need to understand that 50% digital transaction frequency. Okay, means the customer who are coming with like more than 50% of the digital transaction frequency. Now for that, guys, there's a new formula. There's a different formula which need to be applied over here, and that is I think called as a percentile. So you can see that I have created a new measure over here, because for calculating this percentile we just require the measure. So this is measure, not the column. So this is what we have calculated, percentile x. Okay, so this is a function we have, percentile x. Now this actually helped me to understand. So there's a column called digital transaction score. If I just look at the column digital transaction score, I think yeah. So you can see that digital transaction score is given, and that different score values are there. Okay, so I think this value is maybe ranging between 0 to 100. So near to 100 means like definitely the customer using a digital transaction a lot. Okay, which is I think nowadays very common. But if the score is, let's say, less, let's say 10, 20, something like that, it means that customer is still like more dependent on, like, let's say, the cash transaction or maybe the card transaction or something else, but not completely on a digital transaction. So now we are checking that if this digital transaction score for a customer is greater than 50%. Okay, so if greater than like 0.5. Okay, so that is what we are considering over here. Okay, and this digital percentile is, I think, that is the last column we are considering over here, that high digital user. Okay, so if you can see that over here we are checking that if the digital transaction score is greater than this digital percentile value. Okay, now percentile value for more than like 50% of the customers, like definitely some percentile value comes out to be it may be anything. So we can even check that what is that like a value. So for, let's say, just in order to just check that value, you can we can just take any card over here and we can try to select that digital percentile. So it is coming to 49 percentile. Okay, so if that digital transaction score is coming out to be greater than that 49, then it will be considered as a high risk, otherwise low risk. Okay, so you can see that over here the scores are actually in between maybe between 8 to 99. Okay, so for the customers, the customer who are actually having the score greater than 49, yeah, those customers are actually considered as a like a high risk customer. Okay, and then finally, guys, we just try to bring all the boundary conditions together, and just like we have done in the previous case. Okay, so just try to bring all the boundary conditions like together and make a high risk, moderate risk, and let's say the kind of a low risk thing over here. Okay, so you can see that I try to consider each and everything over here. Okay, so if the customer coming with the past default, high risk. Okay, after the comma, then if the EMI to income is greater than 0.3. So you can see that in the last third and fourth boundary conditions, even these things are even written over there. Okay, so we just try to consider each and everything over here. Okay, so EMI to income is greater than 0.3, high risk. Loan to income greater than 4, high risk. Now this one is actually coming along with the tenure. Okay, because this is not the single condition, this actually comes along with the tenure. So loan to income is greater than 4, and at the same time the tenure is less than 12. Now that is considered to be the high risk. And then high digital user, if again, so if the customer is a high digital user, then it's again a high risk. Okay. After that, if AMI to income is greater than 0.3, and after that, guys, you can see that we are not considering and, we are considering or over here. Okay. And so we are using that or over here. So if the loan to income is greater than 4, then I will take it as low credit worthy. And if the credit score is less than 600, I will take it as a moderate risk. And now let's say, guys, that if the customer is not falling any of this, like a high risk, low credit worthy, and the moderate risk condition, then I will consider them as a low risk. Okay. So you can see, guys, that even over here, somewhere it is written that low credit score should be considered as a moderate risk. Okay. So that's why in this case you can see that I've just added one more condition, that if the credit score is less than 600, which I think that okay, that is a low credit score if anyone having less than 600 as a credit score, so I will consider as a moderate risk. And then if the customer is not following any of this situation, any of this condition, then I will take it as a low risk. Okay. So in the final one, guys, in the risk category, I just try to we just try to put all those bring all those scenarios which we have considered in our boundary conditions. Okay. So this is how, guys, we try to create that end-to-end kind of a system. Okay. So I guess that in this whole thing, in this whole boundary conditions and the calculations which I have done, I think the only place or the only thing which is probably the new for you is this like a percentile function. Apart from that, I don't think that anything like which I'm using over here or which we have discussed over here is like completely new for you. Definitely, this risk category is something which you need to think a bit more. Where it will definitely come with more of practice. That you can think of this one last condition where you can try to bring everything at a single place. Okay, so yeah, definitely this particular like a task will take you like a bit of time, definitely a bit of more practice. But apart from the last two, guys, I think the whatever the rest of like the conditions are there, it is, I think, pretty easy to like create. Okay. So yeah, guys, please let me know if there is any question you guys have.
Please
Meanwhile,
show, can you please show the digital percentile formula once again?
yeah, sure. I'm like along with this copying, I will even show you that. So this is going to be the fourth one. The default flag. This is, I think, one boundary conditions only. Then we have this digital percentile. Yeah, this is the one, I think, which you're talking about.
Yes.
And this is the only like a measure we have. And after this, we have this high digital user and the last one. Okay, so yeah, guys, I've actually put it down into your like and into the chat. Just try to take it from there. And then there's a final one, which is the risk category. Okay, so guys, yeah, just try to take all these like into your Power BI notebook, and then let me know if there is any like question or difficulty if you guys have. Yeah, guys, is it done for everyone? Okay, would it be better if you could add this file? I will add it, guys. I will add each and every file. Don't worry about the files. Okay, that's fine. Let me know, guys, if there's any doubt, from any of this, like calculation or the formula which we have used so far. Okay, great. So now guys, even I got this thing that like Rohit, are you there into the session? Yeah. So that maybe if you try, so even you can try to bring this chart. Now guys, definitely. I think this is one question which many learners are trying to ask, that okay, how to think of like these kind of questions and all. Okay, now guys, let me make you very clear, okay, that definitely guys, as a trainer, or as a like yeah, definitely nowadays you can or like yeah, or you can even say that okay, full-time trainer, it is very easy to like create these boundary conditions. And then nowadays, that the kind of tools we have, like the AI tools we have, it is very easy to even create it in a very very proper way, just like I've actually shown you over here. But apart from that, guys, let's say when you start practicing like these things, when you start practicing more questions, the thing is that you are able to like relate, we are able to like generate different kind of like a thoughts, or different kind of analogy. At least, guys, you are able to create, like, let's say these KPIs over here, then different charts over here. Okay, and one more thing, guys, let me tell you very honestly this part, that the clients are, let's say, because you are also working professional somewhere, and we know that clients are a bit like greedy anywhere. So let's say if I talk about even for my like a firm, my manager. So if I'm creating that tracking system, so is that it will always happen that manager can definitely ask you that okay, can you create this or that also? Okay, and from there, guys, the questions automatically arise. Okay, so you don't need to think much about this, that like how we can think of those questions. So if you're working for any client, ultimately, guys, the questions will appear in a way. But for a practice, guys, there are nowadays, guys, it's very simple that if you have any data set, if you have any let's say a single line or maybe a two line of a problem statement, if you give that particular thing to maybe any AI tool, and if you ask that, okay, create some set of questions for me, and or some set of like a criteria for me, it will definitely help you out with those criteria. Okay, definitely by the end of this session, I will definitely help you to. Until now, I think we work on two problem statement in a similar way. By the end of the session, you are like you have at probably six or seven problem statements with you. But apart from that, for your practicing, you can definitely use like those tools and utilize it. Okay. So now, guys, even over here, you can see that
Shivam, I
you
have a doubt now.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, can we connect Power BI to the live database, and we can use the reports,
Yeah, sure.
or we should have a database copied one, or we can directly connect to the live database.
No, that's what I think we discussed earlier also. Like you can see that there's a refresh button. So
Okay.
definitely you can connect this with the live data, and your live data could be anywhere. Like it can be even a like let's say a Google Drive. Okay, so it can be on a Google Sheet. Okay, so
Okay.
which you want to connect live. Similarly, if you have like some SQL database, okay, and you want to connect it live, okay. So all
So
these
if we
connections can be made.
okay, if we want to connect to the client's database server,
Can see that
is it possible to
definitely there's,
connect?
there's some sort of there are some sort of permissions. Okay, it depends upon even those things. Like let's say if I talk about a simple Google Sheet, or let's say if along with my firm, if I'm working on that tracking system, So I think that example I've already given to you, that my manager, and some of the other assistant managers, we are working on the same tracking like a data, and definitely on a daily basis, people are updating that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And that tracking system is actually update us like, okay, who are actually placed in which university, and then who are actually placed in recording and everything. Okay. So in our like a form also, we have a group of like the trainers, and the trainers, the group of subject matter experts. So and there are two dialects. Okay, so the first is that people are sometime like recording the session, then the other dialects where people are serving in the colleges or universities. So we try to we try to keep track of those like candidates. Okay, so employees. So definitely, like everyone, like everyone else, the upper people like the managers, the associate director, they actually have the access of all those things. So they can definitely try to add or remove like at any time whatever they want to add or want to remove, and the data will get like change live into your access. So the thing is that in a case like if you have data in some like kind of a platform where the access are very limited or something like that, so in that case some sort of permissions you can try to check that what may be required over there. But in a simpler way, if I talk about a simple Google Sheet or a simple database, SQL database and all, so for all that, there are two things. One is like the swap. You can see that till now we are taking the data from Excel workbook, or we are taking the data from text or CSV. Let's say if I have some live data into the Google Sheet, I can simply use this web, and I can try to put the link of that Google Sheet over there. Okay. And in that
Okay.
way, I can connect it with it. So you can see that it's just asking for a URL. Okay. After URL, you can simply try to connect with that. Then the same goes for the SQL Server. But in case of SQL Server, you also need to install, let's say, one like a kind of a software. Okay, so I think definitely if people are using the SQL, so they definitely have that software like PG Admin or the SQL Workbench. Okay, so
Okay.
for these two, it's like easy to connect. Okay, but at the same
Okay.
time, it is only possible if you're having the organizational mail ID. Okay, so that is
Okay.
one thing we have. Okay, apart from
Okay.
that, if I have an organizational mail ID, then it is going to be simple like two steps of process. Okay, so either I can use web or either I will use SQL. The depends on like where your data is placed.
Okay.
Hello, Shivam. Hello.
Yeah, Divya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just wanted to extend on the question. Can I just
Mhm.
import this data into PowerPoint and have a dynamic presentation of this Power BI reports on the PowerPoint as well?
No, again, correct. Okay, so that's what I have actually shown you, that right now this file can be exported into PDF only, or maybe Power BI template. For the PPT, that option is not coming over here. That option will actually come again if we have the organizational mail ID. So let's say that those who are having this, you can see that we also can publish it on a web. So those who are actually walking into like a place, and if you guys having the organizational mail ID, you can actually try it out these things. Okay, you can actually check out these things over there. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So you have the access. You'll get one more option to export it into the PowerPoint. That
Okay,
is fine, but for that we need that like organizational mail ID over there.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, guys. Anything else? So you can see guys that in this like a dashboard or in this report, I've just added 4 charts. Okay, so definitely you can think of it. You can try to even add more charts. Okay, so a very basic charts I've added over here, like average of EMI to income, risk category. Okay, so just 4 charts added, and then even we can check that how many customers are there, what percentage of total customers we have who are falling into this high risk like category. Okay, so all these like simple like report page, guys, we have created in just one page. Okay, So I think in the last session we discussed about it, like okay, you can definitely extend it to the like it's 2 or 3 or maybe 4 pages. Depends upon that. The requirement depends upon that how much more value you can try to add into your report. Okay, and definitely, guys, any real world problem statement for any real world problem statement or for any real world like a business scenario, we cannot just compress ourselves. We cannot just limit ourselves in for one report page. Definitely, in that case, we require like a more report pages, like we did earlier with the like a data set. Okay. So fine, guys, I will share this with you. But and if you want a similar kind of a data set, means a similar kind of a problem statement where again 3 or 4 like business sorry, boundary conditions are there. So if you want something like that, if you want bit of more practice on a similar kind of a with a similar kind of a boundary conditions, and then want to create like a report or want to create a chart, so yeah, you can definitely tell me. I will share. I have like a like a 3 or 4 similar kind of like a problem statement along with the boundary conditions. So I will share with you. Okay. So I have one very again a standard one from the insurance company. Okay, so like in an insurance company, like especially in a health insurance company, so many customer trying to make a false claim, trying to just take their amount like in a different like ways. So they're trying to make a multiple like multiple ways. They're trying to take a multiple like a kind of approach to make that like a fraud. So for that also, guys, I have one beautiful data set along with the problem statement, along with the boundary condition. So yeah, if you want, I can share that with you, and again for your practice. Okay. Now, guys, I think as we already discussed that we have done enough on the decks. We have done like enough on the like a basic chart. Now from like today, it's we need to like proceed. We need to go ahead with the next topic, that is how we can actually use something called as a Power Query Editor for data cleaning and data transformation. Okay, now for that, guys, again let's take a new data set. Okay, and in onto that new data set, guys, we'll try to understand that what are the problems are there into that new data set, and then we'll try to understand that how to get rid of these problems, how to like clean up our data, and then how we can like do a bit of transformation if it is required. Okay, so let me share, guys, that data set with you. And again, guys, even after dropping the columns or doing anything, we again need to create the DAGs using the same formulas and all, and we have to go ahead. Okay, so let me first share the data set with you. And it is again, guys, having the similar kind of a problem statement, so it will be easy for you to actually understand. But yeah, the data set is completely different, having a different kind of problems over there. So let me share it in a chat box. So the name of a data set, guys, is financial loan, and it's an Excel file. So financial underscore loan. So just try to download it, guys, and then we'll start working on it. Okay. Meanwhile, I will also share this file into the drive. Okay, guys, so download the data. I will be back in like 3 to 4 minutes and start working with that data set. Okay, guys, so let's start with this data set. Now, again, guys, just like we have done earlier, just try to load this data. Now, guys, when you try to load, let's say, such a data set, so you always get multiple options over here, whether you want to load the data, whether you want to transform the data. Now, when I say, guys, that we require, let's say, the data cleaning and the transformation, so definitely, guys, it means that whenever any new data arrive or whenever we got any new real world data set, so the real world data set, guys, doesn't you cannot expect that that data set is completely clean or the data set is not like a messy. Okay, so definitely, guys, that data set is very much messy and contain like a lot of noise, and in that case, guys, we always first need to transform data. Okay, so you can see that we are getting two options over here, so we can always try to start from let's say the transformation. Okay, so I can click on this transform data and I can simply try to create that we can simply try to start creating that start cleaning the data, start removing the noise, start removing let's say any unnecessary columns, or let's say if there is any like a column coming with the inappropriate data type, we can try to correct it. Okay, now guys, right now guys, maybe if you guys already load the data, you don't need to like worry a lot if you guys already load the data and you thinking that okay, how to then go on to the transformation. So again, guys, even if I load the data directly over here, still, guys, we have the chance to go on to that transformation. And for that, guys, you can see that there's a queries option on the top. Okay, so there's a tab or there's a panel. You can see that queries, and inside this, guys, we have this option of transform data. Okay, now in both the ways, guys, so either you click on the transform data from there, or either you click on the transform data over here. In both the ways, guys, it will take you onto the same page, and that page name is Power Query Editor. Okay, so since you load the data, guys, for one, so you are getting the all the columns over here. Now let me tell you guys in a short that in this data set you definitely find out some of the columns which are not properly aligned, or I can say that we are able to find out like some columns which are not present in a appropriate data type. Okay, so definitely, guys, we first need to bring all the data into their respective let's say the data type, or if there is any unusual value, or if there is any inappropriate value, so we need to fix all those things. Okay, now for this, guys, just click on this transform data over here. You have this option of transform data. Now, guys, you can see that it will simply take you onto this Power Query Editor. Okay, so you can see here that this is a Power Query Editor we have. And I think I've already earlier also I've shown you this Power Query Editor thing, that how it looks like, the interface of this. Now on this Power Query Editor, guys, you can see, guys, that we have four options over here. So I will try to go through all these options one by one. Definitely, guys, in a single data set, it is a bit difficult to find out all the problems, but still, I will try to give you a short, let's say, the description of each of these methods present over here. Okay. Now,
Actually, I
guys,
cannot see the editor. Can anyone else see the editor? Uh,
no,
can you
so
show the
actually what
editor? I cannot see the editor that you are saying.
uh, okay,
In the
you are
screen,
asking in
in the
early
screen you
screen.
have,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
no issue. One second. Yeah, I think now. Yep.
Ah, yes, now it's visible.
Okay, great. So yeah, you guys, you can see that we have four options over here. And I think earlier also we talked about it that we got these applied steps over here. So whatever the steps you are going to apply, all the steps will be recorded over here. So at any point of a time, if you think that okay, this step is actually not correct, or this step needs to be changed or need to be replaced with something else, so yes, we can do all those things. Now guys, right now the name of the dataset is financial underscore loan dot CSV. Okay, that's the complete name of a dataset. Now we can start from here itself, guys. So you can see that definitely we don't require this whole name. If I just take the name as loan, or if I just take, so definitely guys, if you know that whenever we want to create any new formula, whenever we want to create any new column, every time guys we need to we need this like data set name over there. Okay, and definitely guys, if this is a name, ultimately guys will get a problem. Okay, so we can definitely try to take a shorter name over here for my data set. Let's say I can simply make it as loan. Now with this guys, what will happen, your dataset name will change. So in a DAX also, in a column also, at a formation of new column, at a formation of new let's say the measure, you should not you do not use you need not to use, like, let's say the that name. Now you can go ahead with this loan name. Okay, now we first try to check guys, going through my like entire columns, I first want to just understand that whether all these 100% values are valid, or if there is any if there is any error, or if there is any empty value. Okay, so now guys, what we can do, we can just try to scroll onto our left side, and we can see that if there is any error or if there is any empty value. And this is the simple thing guys, which we can directly check by something called a column profiling. Okay, so I think last time also I told you about this, that how you can get this. Let's say right now, if someone of you not getting this, so you can go into the view section, and you can just click on this column quality. Okay, so with the column quality, you are able to see that what is the quality of your column. So in the very first hand, you are able to you got to know that if there is any error value, or if there is any empty value into your data set. Okay, so now I'm trying to move on to the right hand side. Let's see if there is any error value in any column. So you can see here that we didn't get the error value, but we got the 3% of empty value into the employee title column. Okay, so fine. This is, let's say, the first thing we got it into our data set. Now let's move on. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, guys, we are getting I think nothing over here. Just 3% empty in one column. I think the other columns are like free. The other thing, guys, you can see that at the bottom right now, this column profiling is based on the top 1,000 rows. But at any point of a time, guys, it is possible that the data set can contain, like, definitely if I talk about the real world scenario, so it can even contain, guys, like more than the 1,000 rows. Okay, and 1,000 rows are minimal. Okay, so what I can do, I can make a right click, and I can probably see that right now we are getting the column profile based on the 1,000 rows. Now I want to understand the column profile, means I want to understand the same valid, error, empty thing for the entire data set. Okay, definitely guys, I want to see that if there is any error, if there is any empty value into my entire rows, not onto the basis of the top 1,000 rows. Okay, because guys, let's say if I talk about this data set, so this data set, guys, contains around 40,000 yeah, 40,000 rows. Okay, around 40,000, 37 or 38, around 40,000. Now definitely guys, right now we're just taking the first 1,000. Now guys, still like 38, 36,000 like rows are left, and there can be like more problems, or there can be more issues into those remaining rows. Okay, so we want to understand the profile on to the basis of entire data set. So I can click on that, and let's see. It will take a bit of time because I told you that data set is a bit larger. So now I can just move on, and you can see guys that the empty percent value increases to 4% from 3%. Okay, so guys, you can see that even if I talk about the entire data set, so at least in terms of profiling, there is no problem. I can try to just clean up the data. Okay, so even I think guys, in a actual data, I actually observed that there may be some problem with the data type, but over here we're not getting that. Okay, so I can see that we are getting the proper date time kind of a format. Okay, which is actually good in this case. We can still just try to figure it out. So definitely get the list may be incomplete because there's a more data over here. Okay, so fine guys, now we can just go on to the very first place, and we can start like thinking that what are all the things we can probably trying to do into this data set, because let's say there are maybe some like a requirement before starting start doing all this before start creating the report, or before start creating the columns or the decks. Okay, now guys, in this data set you can see there's a column called like a employee length. Okay, now if I talk about guys this column which is employee length over here. Okay, now you can see guys that in this column there are these are the unique categories over here. Okay, so if I talk about the distinct like employee length, so these are the distinct employee length. It means that we have the employee who works like for 1 year. We also have an employee guys. We also have a data of an employee who actually works who are actually having the experience less than 1 year. Then 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then guys, we also have an employee with 10 plus years of an experience. Okay, so this is like all the data guys we have. Now, if I talk about guys this particular data set, let's say that if I simply want to like convert this particular column into a numbers. Okay, because let's say guys that if I want to calculate something, or if I want to utilize this particular column into some like let's say sort of the calculations, so I probably cannot use it because there's a year like a word attached like to this numbers. Okay, but ultimately guys like if I talk about this data set, so these are nothing but a numbers, because there's a employee who actually for less than 1 year. Then there's an employee who actually work for 9 years, 4 year. Okay, so if I just got the numbers also over here, and if I already know, or if, from the data set, if you already know this part that this is actually the numbers over here in terms of the years. So I can probably remove these years part from here, and I can try to make it as a numbers column. Okay. Now guys, I already told you that if I just click on the this ABC icon over here, so ABC stands for a text data type. So you're getting all the other options over here. Like let's say if I want to convert directly, if I simply want to convert this numbers, or maybe this whole like a column into the numbers, so I can probably click on the whole number and it will create. Okay, but it will not directly convert guys, because you can see that now we are start getting the errors. So why we are start getting the errors? Uh, because guys in the columns it is not only written as 1 2 3 4. Along with that 1 2 3 4 we also getting that year. It is also written as year. Okay, so let's say guys, if I want to convert this kind of a data, or if I want to convert this kind of a whole column into the numbers, what I need to do is I first need to get rid of these like a year from year. Okay, so I first need to get rid of this year. I need to first get rid of these like years similarly from everywhere, and then only guys I can actually try to create that like a I can actually try to convert it into the numbers. Okay, now for that guys you can see that there's a transform over here on the top. Okay, and you have to check guys that this is the text column we have. Okay, so you can see that there's a function called text column. It means that these are all the operations guys, or these are all the functions which you can perform with the text data type. Okay, which you can perform with the column which contains a text like a data type. Okay, so let's see guys that what we can do with this. So for that guys there are multiple operations we have. like you can see guys that you can perform lowercase, uppercase, capitalize, trim. Okay. Then you also have guys this extract like over here. Okay. So if you want the text before delimiter, if you want to text after delimiter, okay, so all these things are there. Similarly, guys, there's a split column things are there. Okay, so by delimiter, by number of characters and all. Okay. Now, guys, what we want, let's say I want to probably split this column, or maybe I can use the formatting to even probably for trim this column. There are two things which I can actually perform it over here, because I simply want like numbers at one place, okay, and the this word year at the second place, okay, so that I can remove that year one and I can just go ahead with the numbers. Okay, now let's see guys that what we can do in this like a case if I want. So let's say if I try to use like a trim, okay, so we are not actually getting anything over here. Let's then go ahead with that split. Now I think guys the delimiter over here is the space. Okay, so I think we can talk about okay each delimiter, each occurrence of the delimiter, and we can simply try to split it. Let's see that the output. Okay, to actually break this into three parts, which we don't want actually, because okay, for 9, 4, 3, these are the fine. These are good, but the problem is with this actually this less than, and then again we have less than, then 10 plus. Again, guys, this 10 plus will also be considered as the text. Similarly, I think the less than also considered as text. So I think this 9 is this is fine. We need to first probably replace it. Okay, but I think uh, directly even this will not take place. I think this column, this one option should also be there where we can because find and replace option should be there somewhere. Let me check. Okay. So in this case, everything is actually not at the same place. That's what the problem in this case.
Sir, in the split column, can't we use the rightmost delimiter?
But with that right most delimiter, this less than thing, then still it will be there. Or we can do it maybe twice. That's what is possible. So that idea is good, but then
We can use
we still have.
parts text, no?
Okay, so this idea is good that so in that way the ears will get removed, and we are getting this like so what my thought is like I am just like I think maybe we have done it into that uh, I need to, I'm searching for, I think the option, okay, I got it. I think this replace values is what we can use. So now, yeah, so I think this is correct, because I can now get just remove this entire column. And for this column, what my thought is that we can use this replace value. Let's see, and we can try to actually use this, that wherever there's a less than one, Okay, so I think there is some yeah, wherever there's a less than 1, I can try to replace it with the 0.5 because we require the whole number over there, and I think there's a space. And similarly, wherever there's a 10 plus, I can simply try to make it as 10. So I think that is one way where through which we can actually convert into the numbers. Similarly, in the same column, wherever there's a 10 plus, yeah, so that rightmost idea is actually good. Now I can just pick it 10. Now this, okay. Yeah, now this is fine. So now guys, it's easier. Now we can just try to get rid of this column. I can use remove function, get rid of this column because that column is no longer required. And even guys, in this column, we can try to change it to the employee length only. So I can just try to rename this column over here. So it actually changes to the employee length 1. Now we can simply make it as employee length. And now guys, this data doesn't contain any text value. So since now it doesn't contain any text value, now I can try to convert into the decimal number. So why decimal number? Because we actually change it to the 0.5. So since I changed that less than 1 as 0.5, so we need to convert them into the decimal number. I can see guys that it now easily converted to the decimal number, and we don't have uh, we don't even we didn't get any error over here. Okay. So yeah guys, this is what we need to think of definitely in one way if it is not happening. So we need to think of steps to actually do that. Okay, and similar way guys, because again let me tell you this thing that anywhere if I require this employee length for let's say some sort of the calculation, now I don't need to think a lot because again let's say adding or multiplication or between two integers or between two decimal numbers are actually possible, but doing the similar kind of a calculation between one integer or let's say the whole number and the other text value is not possible. Okay, so this is what we can do into this transformation. Okay. Now guys, you can try. I think every one of you able to do this. Please let me know if the step is done and completed. Yeah, guys, is it done for everyone? Okay, great. So now guys, the next thing which I can try to do or I can ask you to do, that is again, guys, so I was actually thinking that maybe these are not given in the correct format, so we can try it out something, but it is already there, so that's great. Now, there's one thing, guys, where again we can try to do the same thing, means we can try to convert them into the numbers, and again for the calculation purpose. Okay, just like we have the data in our previous case study. That is, guys, in this I think term case. Okay, so in the term case, you can see that if I just click on this drop down, so we have actually two categories over here. Means there are the customer who has taken the loan for who has taken the loan for 6 months, sorry, 60 months, means 5 years, and there's other customer who has taken the loan for 3 years. Okay, so we are actually having just these two categories over here. There is no other category we have. So even guys into this like a column also, you can try to do the same thing. Again, you can just try to get rid of this month, and we can actually convert them into the numbers. Okay. And I think guys in this case it is a bit easier because in the previous case guys we have that delimiter on both the side, but in this case guys it is we are having the delimiter only on the right hand side. So it is even going to be easier for you. Okay, so in this like a data also we can probably do the same thing. Okay. Now going forward, guys, the other things which we can try to do or which we can try to check in onto this data set is that is like these columns where we have the decimal values. Okay, so initially, guys, wherever we have these decimal values, you can see that everywhere. We are getting this problem that there are multiple like numbers after the decimal values. Okay, and I even show you that earlier also that like sometimes it is these numbers are actually like too much. Okay, so definitely there 10 20 numbers are also there, and definitely we don't want that. Okay, so let's say there's a DTI installment interest rate, so whatever it is I can simply try to restrict it to the two decimal or three decimal place, which is actually guys the appropriate way to show any like numbers. Okay, so that is also guys a part of the transformation itself, where I can try to bring all these like a decimal values up to the two decimal or maybe the three decimal place. Okay. Now after that, guys, at the end we have this total account and total payment column, which is completely fine because the total amount and the total so total amount is again going to be the whole number. So this is 1 2 3, so it is completely fine. Then the same goes for the loan amount and the total payment amount. Now, one more thing, guys, which we can actually check for this entire data set, and then you can get rid of the few columns. Okay, because guys, definitely in any real world data, so let's say in this data set, there are maybe 24 or 25 columns. Now, guys, think of it. Let's say when we have that much of columns, so we sometimes actually confuse that which column I can actually use and which column I cannot. I can simply avoid let's say for making any inference, or let's say for making any like a decision. Okay, even guys in this data set I will not guys, I'm not going to give you that like a boundary conditions on anything. Okay, we are going to we are just having that problem statement, and we are going to think from ourselves that okay, which column can be utilized, which charts can be created, and how we can make this whole report let's say 2 or 3 page report as like more informative. Okay, now in that situation, guys, so whenever in that situation when you have like more than 10 or 20 columns, so it is a bit difficult to understand, or it is a bit difficult to decide that which column can be utilized and which column can be released or can be avoided. Now for that, guys, there's a again you can go into the view, and there's a function called column distribution. Now guys, with this column distribution you can simply check that, let's say if I talk about this column, which is the application type. Now, in this particular column, guys, you are simply checking that individual means the application type is individual. Now, guys, there's a drop down also where you can see that if there are multiple like distinct values are there. Okay, but you can see, guys, that we just have the individual. Okay. Now, similarly, guys, let's say somewhere we are actually getting this information like right like over here itself, but somewhere, guys, we are not actually having this information. Now in that case, guys, what we can do, we can use this column distribution where I can see that if there are so many categories or if there are just one category. Now definitely, guys, in this column if I just have one category, now definitely, guys, this column will not actually help you to understand or to solve your problem statement. Like in this data, guys, again we have the same problem statement which I have given you like into the assessment, that based on the customer or based on the let's say the customer category, the bank or the financial institution needs to decide that whether they can approve the loan of the individual or not. Okay, now guys, since the application type is same for like for all the 38,000 rows, now definitely, guys, there is no like a difference. There's no like there's nothing we need to this particular column we cannot utilize for any prediction or for making any decision in our future. Okay. Now guys, let's say if I talk about this column, so in this column there are, let's say, 10 distinct like a category we have. Now definitely guys, let's say if I observe that the customer with less experience, or the customer with the let's say less than 3 years of experience, there the chance of default are actually higher, then I can simply actually use this feature to decide that whether for any new customer I can provide them a loan or not. Okay. But if I talk about this column guys, which is application type, now in this column guys, we simply have the single like application type, which is individual. Now definitely guys, in this on the basis of this column, I cannot actually use this column for any decision making thing. So if there is any column guys which cannot be utilized for your decision making purpose, that particular column guys needs to be dropped. Okay, because definitely you don't want to have a lot of like a things into your like a data set, and the kind of like columns which is not which is not useful for any purpose. Okay, so definitely guys, we can actually check for all these things. Okay, now in this address state guys, you can see there are so many address state, and these are maybe their code name like AKAL. Okay, so let's say that I think somewhere these are TX. Okay, so let's say this is the data for the United States, and TX stand for Texas. Okay, so similarly, guys, there are so many like a country, or let's say the state code is there. Now, if this state codes are too much, okay, if there are, let's say 50, 20, 200 or maybe 300 state codes, then again, guys, it cannot be utilized properly for making any decision. Okay, and even guys, it may be less important that from where the customers are coming from in order to make this decision that whether the customer will make the default or not. Okay, so now again guys, by using this column distribution, you can actually check that how many unique categories are there into each column. Okay, so you can see there are 15 distinct like category into this column, whereas in this column there is just one like a category. Okay, so this thing guys actually help you to decide that which column can be dropped and which column can be utilized. Like again guys, in this column you can see that in the employee title, again over here guys, you also have 4% null values. Now guys, try to understand that even we can impute the null values, we can try to fill the null values. Like we have that replace function which I have already shown you. So with the help of that replace function, I can even try to impute the null values. Okay, because the null values actually guys written as NULL. So I can use a replace function and I can try to replace that NULL with some number or with anything else. But over here guys, there are two problems. The first thing is that it is the employee title, which means that it is going to be some title, or it is going to be some let's say the name over here, it is going to be some text over here. Now definitely guys, it is difficult to if it is difficult that it you cannot actually do that you just try to replace any like a text with some random, with some other random text. Okay, that's not correct way to like do the imputation. Okay, so definitely guys, the like over here, when you are getting that 28,500 employee unique titles, and you just have 38,000 values, it means guys that definitely there are so many unique titles you have. Now this column again guys cannot be utilized for making any decision for future. Okay, because again guys, you cannot just think of that. Okay, if the employee title is this, I can probably I will not provide the loan because this may be a risky one. Okay, because there are 28,000 unique titles. Okay, so which chart we are going to use to check that 28,000 categories? Okay, so there's no chart we can utilize to check that 28,000 unique categories. Okay, so and ultimately guys, this column again having 4% null values. Okay, so this is how guys we can actually think of, if I just use that column distribution, so we can actually think of that. Okay, which column needs to be which column we can actually utilize and which column we can actually drop before going on to my report page. Okay, because guys, before start creating that decision boundary, or before start creating that those conditions, we should have that important information with us before start creating our first like a chart or the reports. Okay, so definitely guys, from this knowledge we can understand that definitely the three columns can be dropped over here. The first one is the address state, then the second one is the application type, and then the third one is the employment title. Okay, so the state I can even try to utilize in some way, but these two can be dropped in a very first like hand. Similarly guys, going ahead, you can check that where we have a similar kind of a problem. So into the grade there are 7 distinct grade. Okay, and this can be useful guys, because I can see that if the person is on a very high grade, it means that they're making good like a yearly income or annual income. So there's a chance of the chance of default is less. Home ownership guys, 5 distinct category, that is fine. Issue date guys, again 55 distinct, 10 unique. Okay, so that is fine. Issue date can be anything for like a customer. So on a single date, so many like a loan can be issued. Okay, so 107. This is fine. Then loan status guys, we have 3 categories over here. Now this is again guys going to be the most important column. I think this is what this is the target variable we have over here, which is our loan status. So you can see guys that this based on this data, we can see that how many customers are actually charged off and how many customers actually fully paid. Okay, and then we have a data of few current customers. Okay, so we can even avoid this current customer data, but we definitely require the charged off and the fully paid customer. Then the purpose of taking a loan. Now in that case guys, we have 14 unique categories. Then subgrade. Now guys, this subgrade can also be like removed, because we already have the grade, and in there are 7 distinct grade. Now if there are 35 distinct subgrade, it means that in each grade there are 5 subgrade. Okay, and which is again guys making no sense, because it again not going to help you in any way to decide which customer will default or which customer will not default. Okay, then verification status guys, this can be useful, because again there are just 3 categories, and we can probably assume that if the customer is not verified, means if the bank or the company is not verified before giving a loan, then it can be a risky thing. Okay, so again guys, then now these are the numbers, so this is fine. Okay, so if annual income, if we have 5096, so these are the these are like the correct information guys. Now what I can do, I can just start I can just choose all the columns which with that we don't require. So like the application type, employment title, and then we also have this subgrade over here. I can choose these 3, and I can make a right click, and I can simply try to remove these columns. So now guys, with this what will happen, you now have only those columns which can give you some sort of information which can help you to make some like a decision. Okay, now you definitely guys don't have like all the columns, and definitely the columns which cannot be utilized for making any decision. Okay, okay, why this column is not being removed from here? Okay, or it's just taking some time. Okay. Yeah, so initially guys, we have 22 columns, sorry, 23 columns. Now after removing these 3 columns, we have now 20 columns left. So definitely guys, if now it's not about like 20 or it's not about 23 columns, it's about like sometimes even we have like 100 columns, sometimes we even have like 50 columns. So definitely in that case guys, there's a lot of confusion that which column we can utilize for making to create a charts or something. Okay, now definitely guys, if we have limited number of columns, then it will be easier for us to decide like, okay, I can probably try all the columns and see that what kind of a decision can be made from there. Okay, I think we'll just subgrade, or is it already? Uh, yeah, guys, just drop these columns and check in your case also. If the subgrade is already dropped, I think that I'm not getting that column. I think that it is already dropped. Yeah. So fine, and I guess that we even don't require this, so I can drop it. So now guys, yeah, 20 columns are left. Now we can go ahead with these 20 columns and for making a decision, for making the chart and all. Okay. And now guys, with this data set, we also try to understand that how to think of, let's say, different conditions. Let's definitely guys, when the customer or when the client give you like some sort of task, so they will not give you that kind of a PDF which I'm trying to share with you, okay, where the boundary conditions are listed down. Okay, they will definitely simply ask you, let's say roughly they will ask you 4 or 5 questions, and you need to think more about it, that okay, how to create that end-to-end report. Okay, so I will go on to home tab and I will click on this close and apply. So do the same guys, everyone. And okay, guys, so it actually contains around 38,000 values, so it may take some maybe seconds. Done, guys, for everyone. Yeah, guys. Okay. And guys, let's do one more thing just before start creating the KPIs or other stuff. We can just try to go into this table view, and as I already told you that we can simply check, okay, that all these columns, I just want to make sure that this should contain maybe uh, let's simply take it as up to 3 decimal place. That is enough. Okay. The same goes for this one. Yeah, and even guys, installment can be taken as a whole number only. तो यहाँ पे even one से भी काम चल जाएगा, I guess. Yeah. Now the interest rate, guys. Yeah, this will be for three. So 0.1242 guys means that 12.4% of interest. Okay. So I think yeah, that's all. So just try to make sure, guys, that for DTI and interest rate, we have taken up to 3 decimal place. I just want to cross check it, because let's say if I'm trying to make it and then you try to make it, and if there's any like a difference, so you don't need to worry. Okay. So just make sure that three for this two, and for installment just one. I think guys, this is done for everyone. Now, guys, coming on to the very first part, and I think that by this time, every one of you are like capable enough to at least think of the KPIs. Okay, so yeah, guys, according to this data set, according to the problem statement, and let me just make this problem statement once again for you, that in this data set, guys, what we need to observe or what we need to identify, that my question is, guys, or my final like a report should actually help me to understand that for which customer which customer can actually make a default. Okay, so let's say if any new customer comes in now, I by using this report, okay, so it doesn't matter like whether you are making 1 page, 2 page, 3 page report. By the end of this report, there should be a set of suggestions, there should be set of like 4 or 5 suggestions, where with the help of and with the help of those suggestions, your client can make a decision for any new customer, that whether this new customer is eligible, whether for this new customer I can provide them a loan or not. Okay, given their criteria, given their like inputs, So based on their inputs, whether we can approve their loan or not, where you can approve their application or not. Okay. So that is the main goal. That is the main objective of, let's say, the problem statement, or let's say this data set. Okay. Now, accordingly, guys, we need to create a report. Okay. So we can definitely try to break this report into 3 pages, 2 pages. Like the first one can be completely according to the customer report page. Second one can be the history report page. Okay. So there can be 2 or 3 pages can be there, but definitely, guys, this report should contain those suggestions which can help my client to take a future decision. Okay, to take a better future decision. That is the overall objective, guys. Okay, so I hope that you are clear with the objective. Now tell me, guys, that before wrapping up the session, now tell me that what are the initial KPIs we can try to create over here, which is going to be the first hand which we can share with our client, that okay, these are the first hand information like for you. Tell me, guys.
Average income.
Okay, average income one. Second, guys. Yeah, guys. So one is average income. Fine. What can be the second one?
Installments. Um,
Installments. Uh, okay. What can be the next? Okay, I think we but don't have the uh average income. I think yeah, this can be okay. So you can see that we have a lot of data over here. The average income is 69.64. The total income is in billion. Fine. Okay, so the number of installment, but again, that should be taken in the average form. Okay, so
yes.
yeah, guys, what can be the next? I think definitely, guys, in any like a report, there should be at least 4 or 5 KPIs, sometimes 6. So what do you thinking? What do you think that what can be the next KPI over here? So yeah, one I have taken as average income. The second, maybe the installment, again the average installment. According to like you guys, what can be the next? Yeah, guys, can we take the interest rate, average interest rate? Yeah, so means out of like 38,000 customers are there. So the average interest rate means on an average, every customer having the interest rate of around 12%. Okay, so this is, I think, one important information. What can be the next, guys?
So actually, average interest rate will be decided by the bank or financial concern only, no?
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
So
yeah,
that how that will be
that
affecting, I want to know how that will be affecting the decision.
no, no, right now, okay, that decision things is what you guys will think, and then tomorrow we'll try to create those charts. Right now, we are just taking those like KPIs. So KPIs means the first hand information which we are sharing with our client.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what we are taking right now over here. So definitely even right, I'm just taking your like a point of view right now. Definitely even tomorrow I can add or remove like 1 or 2 KPIs from here. Okay, so that is completely fine. And even that is also you can think of take it off as assessment if you get any time. You can just try to think of like some of the charts for me, like okay, which chart or which let's say table we can probably create to make that decision. Okay. But for a timing, I'm just asking that what may be the first hand information we can try to share. So like you talk about the average annual income, the total installments.
What is the total payment mean? Total payment field.
That total payment field, like you have taken like an income. Sorry, you have taken some loan amount. Okay, and then definitely that let's say if I take a loan amount of 5 lakh, uh, and if I'm not making any default, if I'm completely paying the amount, so if I took that 5 lakh, let's say for 5 years with 10 or 11% of
12%
interest.
interest.
So in that 5 year, I think I will pay around 7 or 7.5 lakh. Okay, so that is the
Okay.
total payment.
Okay.
So over here, I think we can also take that loan amount. Okay,
Mm.
so this is the total loan amount which is actually disbursed so far. Okay.
Yes.
So in a similar way, you can think of maybe what you ask, even that can also be taken into the KPI. That is, this is a total loan amount 436 millions, which company has disbursed so far, and we can check that how much they actually received. Okay, so it is 473 million. So
Okay.
fine, I think these are the first hand information which we can try to take it over here. Definitely, we can think of like one or two more. Now, guys, I think this is. I think I'm not sharing this thing right now because I think this is not even started yet, and I hope that you already completed that. You already created that the columns in a way we have created. Now, what I want, guys, that tomorrow, if you get any time, just try to think of few conditions, few charts from your end, because there's definitely then like if you try to give, let's say, even half an hour or maybe 1 hour onto this, you are able to come up with some of your ideas and thoughts, and then we can actually check that whether we can utilize it or not, or how we can actually create that complete end-to-end thing from our end only without having then that set of the questions. Okay, because definitely, guys, in the real world scenario, you will not get the exactly in a way set of the questions which I have given to you like the earlier. Okay, so that set of questions or that set of things we need to understand from our end only. The client will only give me the rough information that okay, what exactly they require. Okay, but the breakdown of that requirement is what we need to do from our end. Okay, I hope, guys, that you got an idea about and you understand what the purpose of this. So just try to think of few things that can be included into this, and then we'll try to create the complete end-to-end report like tomorrow. Okay, so I think it definitely require at least 2 or 3 pages that will create tomorrow. Okay, clear, guys? Yeah. Any doubt or query, guys, before wrapping up the session? Okay, guys. So fine then. I think that's all for today. I hope you already have the requirements and the files with you. Just go through even the DEX formulas also, and yeah, just let me know if there's any other requirement you guys have. I'm happy to share that with you. And then, guys, please come up with some thoughts like for tomorrow's session. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. Good night.